Good morning, everybody. Can I just get a quick show of hands? Who in the room here is responsible for some form of reporting on a day-to-day basis? Most of you. Digital 22 should have their hands up as well. Okay. I want you to think about three things as we go through this conversation today. I want you to think about, why do I report? I want you to think about, how does my reporting help my business? And I want you to think about, how much time do we actually spend reporting, as we discuss how to stop wasting time and make better marketing decisions with some smart reporting. So, as Ricky said, my name is Brian Gallagher. I'm a principal sales engineer at Hubspot. I work on the UK and Ireland market in both the corporate sector and the agency sector, which is why I'm here today, with thanks to Digital 22, who are one of our Diamond certified partners. Now, as such, myself and my colleagues work with Digital 22 to implement inbound marketing and HubSpot for a number of different clients. I'm not here today to talk about HubSpot as such. I'm here to talk about reporting, but big caveat, as I said, I work for HubSpot and Digital 22 are a Diamond certified partner. So although we'll be talking about principles, many of them will relate to some of the HubSpot software and functionality. Now, I hate to do this to any of you who still suffer from exam anxiety, but let's put ourselves in the shoes of our former student selves who are cramming for those exams which are taking place around this time of year. We are limited in a number of resources that we have in terms of actually studying for these exams. We're limited by time, we're limited by energy, we're even limited by brain power. So how do we make sure that we allocate those resources most effectively? How do we ensure that we're putting our time and energy and brain power to the best use? Copious cups of coffee. Yeah, it might extend the amount of time that you have, but it will reduce your brain power, it will reduce your energy, and you'll start making bad decisions. So no, probably copious cups of coffee are not really the solution. More than likely, what you're going to do as your former student self is you're going to look at the past papers, right? You're going to look at what questions have come up in the past. You're going to look for trends in those questions. You're going to look and see what questions didn't come up last year. And then, of course, you're going to allocate your resources to focus on those questions that have the best chance of coming up. And in that way, you're allocating your resources to get the best return on investment. You're allocating your resources to get the best grades. You're studying the right areas. Now, fast forward a couple of years, maybe more for some, and we're now marketers who are limited by those same resources, time and energy, and also budget, in terms of doing your marketing, in terms of creating campaigns, in terms of impacting on your business. And we want to make sure that we allocate those resources effectively. We want to make sure that we're working in the right areas, because if we're not, we're going to have bosses, we're going to have board members, we're going to have stakeholders, we're going to have clients who are going to be very displeased. There's nothing worse than plowing headfirst down one road only to start to wonder, have I taken the wrong turn at the start? So how do we make sure that we are starting off in the right direction? How do we make sure that the marketing that we're doing is driving us in the right direction? It's actually helping to impact on our business. Turns out this is an age-old problem. This is Manchester 100 years ago. I've localized these slides, you'll be glad to hear. Why are we here? Well, we're here because this is what the world looked like when John Wanamaker, if you haven't heard of him, you probably know his saying, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. How disheartening it must be for a team to not know whether they are involved in campaigns that are actually helping to grow a business, that are actually helping to impact on a business, or if they're involved in the campaigns that are really having no impact at all. John, you see, was pumping lots of resources into his company. He knew that, and he knew he was getting a return, but he had no idea what was happening in between. He didn't know which resources were being put to the best use, and that's just really, really not efficient. Let's fast forward to 60 years ago. What's a slide deck about marketing without Don Draper? I'm nothing if not original. This is the face of marketing and advertising back in the 60s. It's people like Don who got great results. They knew people, they knew how to get results, they knew how to get what they wanted. Problem was that it was already based on their gut instinct. They were, Don says they can't do what we do and they hate us for it. We couldn't bottle what they did and resell it. They were just like mavericks who were driven by their gut to get results, and not all of us have that luxury of having a gut that drives us towards the best results. And even if we did, I'm not sure that flying by the seat of our pants really is the best solution. It's not repeatable, it's not scalable, and think of our poor student. We don't want that person suffering with sleepless nights. Fast forward again to the new millennium, and we're now talking about the birth of big data analytics. Data-driven decisions. Now we're talking. Now we're making sense. Marketers now have access to a treasure trove of analytics that are going to help them to make the right decisions, that are going to help them to allocate their resources effectively. Problem is that we suffered from a bit of a data overload. There's just so much data out there. We really didn't know how to mine through it and take what we needed from it. I'm no data scientist, and I'm sure that there's plenty of us in this room that don't have the luxury again of working with a data scientist. So I suppose the question really becomes, how do we stop spending time digging through data? How do we avoid death by analysis and spend more time making marketing campaigns that impact on our business again? For the student, we want to make sure that they're not spending all their time looking through the past papers, that they're actually allocating some of their time to studying the books. And for the marketer, we want to make sure that they're actually happily and I suppose comfortably building out campaigns that they know are going to help their business. So I suppose this all comes down to one question. What is it that we are trying to do here? What are marketers actually reporting for? What's the reason that they report? And really it comes down to one thing: growth. We want to grow our business. When I say impact on our business, what I really mean is we want to grow our business. And that's why we report, to find ways to actually grow our business. Reporting for the sake of reporting is not solving for growth. So if you're spending copious amounts of hours every day, every week, every month, pulling together reports, then you want to make sure that you're not just doing it for the sake of reporting. You want to make sure that you're not doing it just to justify the work you have done. Okay? Reporting is really about identifying actionable opportunities for improvement, looking for trends in our marketing efforts and our marketing results that point us in the right direction. Again, just like the student was reviewing those past papers and identifying, really strong opportunities to focus their attention, marketers are doing the same thing with reporting. I suppose there are some rules that I would put in place when thinking about marketing. Really what it comes down to is we want to make marketing metrics really simple. And that comes down to three things. They should be concise. We don't want to drown our team in data. They should be intuitive. We don't need a data scientist to understand these metrics. And they should be automated. If you can automate, automate. And in terms of actually growing our business, really what we're talking about from a digital perspective is we want to increase awareness. We want to drive new visitors to our site, attract those visitors to our site with great content. We want to convert those visitors into leads that are good, qualified leads for our business, who we can then actually market to, who we can communicate with in a very personalized fashion. And finally, we want to close, or we want to convert these leads into customers. We want to generate revenue. So really, when we're talking about growing our business, we want more visitors to the site. We want more leads in our database. We want to generate more customers and more revenue for the business. Perfect. So let's dive into some reports that really emphasize these principles. Okay, so remember we're focused on concise, intuitive, and automated. We're talking about visitors, we're talking about leads, and we're talking about customers. So as marketers, you are engaged in lots of different efforts, lots of different channels in order to drive traffic to your site. So Facebook, Instagram is huge at the moment, LinkedIn, paid ads, you've got email marketers, you've got content writers, SEO, you've got every channel under the sun. The problem is, I suppose, for most, is that they're actually spending a lot of time bringing together different platforms, different databases to pull this data together so that they can actually report on it and see in an intuitive, concise, and automated fashion which channels are actually being most effective for them. So, I suppose in the post-Hubspot world, what we actually have is one platform that is managing your channels across channel, managing your marketing efforts across channels. So you've got your paid search included in here, you've got your organic search, you've got your email marketing, you've got your social media. And we're assessing how those channels are actually impacting on our business in terms of sessions, new contacts or leads, and customers. So the beauty of this report is that it is very concise, it's very intuitive, and it's automated. Okay, we set this up at the start, and this report runs for us in real time. Okay, so we can see which channels are actually growing for us in terms of sessions, new contacts, and customers. We can see where the bottlenecks are happening, where we're generating maybe lots and lots of visitors, but they're not actually converting into leads. They're not actually converting into customers. And this data, I suppose, is really, really good. When you have, maybe you have a boss, maybe you have a client, maybe you have a board member who kind of says, oh, listen, Facebook is no good for us. Our leads aren't on Facebook. Our customers aren't on Facebook. Well, this kind of report is actually going to give you the data to back up your decisions and say, well, actually, Facebook does generate us leads. Facebook does generate us customers. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it generates us loads of visitors, lots and lots of traffic. People are very interested in our content, but they're not good fits for our business. They're not good fits for the product we sell or the service we provide. Push forward, web content. Okay, again, I said we're generating content. We're putting a lot of time and resources into ensuring that it is optimized for search engines, that it's driving the most amount of traffic to our site. But again, is that traffic actually converting into leads? Okay, we don't want a situation where we have visitors coming to our site, leaving, and we know nothing about them. We don't know how to engage with them. What we want to do is provide that hook to get them to convert on our site so that then we can start having that personalized one-to-one journey. And of course, customers. So which content on your site is actually providing you with the most traffic? Which content on your site is generating the most leads? Which content is generating the most customers? What content are your customers most interested in? Again, this report is concise, it's intuitive, it's automated, and it's focused on the right areas. Very easy to compare one page with another so that you can see which are your top performing pages, who are your top performing authors. Campaigns. These are a huge part of inbound marketing and of HubSpot as well. I suppose the way I would look at it is that no single marketing effort works in a silo. Nobody just posts to social media. Nobody just sends out an email. Nobody creates a workflow in isolation. It's always part of a bigger initiative. It's always focused on a bigger goal. So let's say you are launching a new product. You're launching a new service. You're entering into a new market. You're going to build a campaign around this, and a campaign is going to involve lots of different components. Probably you're going to focus around a landing page where you can actually convert your visitors into leads, which will act as the focal point for the campaign. But of course, then you're going to write some lovely blog content, which is related to that. You're going to send out some social posts. You're going to do some email marketing. You're going to do some paid advertising. Again, same problem that we had with the original report. Most people are using multiple different platforms to achieve these results or to build out these campaigns. And therefore, their data is segmented all over the place. Okay, so even though the marketing efforts are not siloed, the data is. And therefore, we spend lots and lots of time pulling together that data into one place so that we can report on it and we can say, this campaign has been growing in steam. This campaign has performed better than the last campaign. Again, with HubSpot and with our campaign reporting, what you can actually do is compare one campaign with another in terms of, again, those three key metrics: sessions, leads, and customers. This time, however, what we're actually adding to that is multiple points of attribution. So whether you're focused on brand awareness and you want to focus on first touch attribution, whether you're interested in conversions and you want to focus on last touch attribution, or maybe you're interested in multi-touch attribution, we can actually attribute contacts to a campaign based on all three of those attribution models. And finally, we're actually bringing in not just customers, but the revenue that's associated with those customers. So we can actually see that this campaign has touched this amount of revenue overall. You can also see down here, we can actually dig into the campaign and start looking at, how the different components of the campaign have actually impacted on it. Okay, so we're not just interested in the top level detail. We can actually drill down into that as well. Finally, a big focus on automated. Okay, we want to have one place where we can pull together all of these different reports from different parts of the funnel. Maybe we want to bring in some email marketing reports, some landing page reports, maybe some sales reports, some services reports. We want to pull them all into one place, into one dashboard. And we want to make that dashboard accessible to all, okay? Rather than spending 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it is on a Friday, pulling together your reports, formatting them, and then sending them out to the right people at the right time, what we can actually do over here is set up our dashboard to be sent out to the relevant people on an ongoing basis. Okay, so let's say we have a marketing meeting every Monday morning at 9 a.m. At 8 a.m., our dashboard is sent out to all the marketers who are attending that meeting so they all have the same metrics in front of them as they start that meeting. Again, if we can automate, we automate. So again, to emphasize, what we were looking to do here was create concise reports, not drown our teams in data, make them intuitive, easy to understand, no need for a data scientist. Make them, I suppose, actionable. Okay, so every member of the team can look at those reports and say, okay, well, this is where we've gone wrong today. This is how a previous campaign or a previous piece of content actually performed. This is where I should really be pushing in the future. And of course, we wanted to make them automated. And of course, we wanted to focus on the growth of the business. So we wanted to focus on visitors that are generated to the site, leads, and customers. And overall, what we wanted to do was provide our student with the right resources or the right direction to allocate their resources in the right way to maximize their return on investment and get the grades they need. Thank you very much for listening. If there are any questions, take them now, or any questions, I'm happy to answer. If not, we can talk later. Ricky.
The influence contact revenue in the campaigns, but can you just talk through that in a little bit more detail?
Yes.
I think that's quite an interesting bit. It's something that's quite tricky to do in like Google Analytics or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, there are 3 attribution models in the campaign analytics. You've got first touch attribution. So that is saying that the first time somebody came to your site, they came through some component of that campaign. The second attribution model is last touch attribution, and that is based on the time that they actually converted into a lead. So not the first time they came to your site, but the time before they converted into a lead, they came through a component of that campaign. Multi-touch attribution then is saying that it's a broad measurement of impact on your contact database. So it's saying that perhaps your content did not actually drive new visitors to the site, and perhaps it didn't actually convert visitors into leads, but the contacts in your database were impacted by that. So the content that you were creating didn't generate leads, but it did impact on the contacts in your database. They did consume that content, and therefore it was helping them or nurturing them down through the funnel, down through their buyer's journey. The closed deals is, I suppose, another way of looking at customers. So you closed 20 deals related to this campaign. Again, 20 contacts touched this campaign and then later became customers. And then the influence revenue is the revenue in the CRM in that closed won opportunity or closed won deal that was associated with those contacts and those customers. Does that answer your question, Ricky? Yeah, yeah, please.
Does Hubspot have attribution models like Google Analytics as the assistant?
Yep, so HubSpot has 6 different types of attribution models within our enterprise reporting. And I can't think of all 6 offhand, but let's start with, it has first touch, last touch, of course. It has multi-touch, so every touch. And then it also has a simple decay model. And what that does is it actually gives 50% of the attribution to the last touch, 25% to the second last, and so on. Can't think of the other 2, can you guys? No. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We still use quite a number of different reporting tools. Also we've got the reporting module, and we've got clients on the enterprise as well, which is all really good. But we're also using a lot of certainly SEO reporting like Ahrefs. We've got some of the analysis through Hotjar, for example. We've got Google Analytics, different goal conversions. Is there any recommendations? I mean, and then we get closer to kind of putting a lot of these things in one place, or is it typical for still having 2, 3, 4 dashboards, even with the advanced reporting of HubSpot?
Yeah, I think in relation to the sort of the SEO part of your question, or have you been using the content strategy platform? Brilliant. Okay, cool. So there's some pretty cool reporting in there. HubSpot is an all-in-one platform, or an all-in-one platform. That's what we kind of we call it. But of course, there's always going to be opportunities to expand that and to use other tools to focus in on specific things that HubSpot doesn't answer for. And of course, as the platform grows, we're going to incorporate more and more of that into the platform. And we're going to be integrating with more and more tools, and we're going to be allowing developers to build on top of HubSpot to actually incorporate these kind of things. So absolutely, at the moment, and in the future, there's always going to be something that you're going to be doing outside of HubSpot. But what we're trying to do is focus on the key areas, the most important things that are going to help you to drive growth, which we really do focus on those visitors, those new contacts, and those customers, and provide you with the inputs or the outputs to actually assess what you're actually doing with your marketing. So we have lots of customers who are using lots of different tools, and you mentioned a bunch of them there: Segment, Tableau, Databox. There's loads of different tools that kind of maybe do business intelligence or a specific reporting, but just depends on exactly what you're looking for. Any other questions? Okay, well listen, I'll be here for the rest of the day, so just tap me on the shoulder and ask anything you want.